My name's Greg Knapp. This is the Greg Knapp Experience, your 20-minute thrill ride for your commute or your workout. One city asks, should we tolerate burglaries? Another mother is banned from a school library. The left has entered bizarro world on race, and you've got to hear the latest. Are you ready for a university dedicated to freedom of thought and academic diversity? No, I mean, for real, a new one. The CDC is now suggesting you mask up for cold and flu season? And Biden's poll numbers have hit an all-time low. All that and more coming up in this edition of the Greg Knapp Experience. Let's go. All right, so let's start with just some of the crazy headlines. Because, one of the hard things every day when I start the show is what should go first? And what should I cover? Because I'm trying to get you in and out of some big news stuff and opinion, just real quick on your way to work, on your workout. So I can't hit everything, obviously. I can do a 6-hour show every day with all the stuff that we have. So today I just said, you know what? I'm just going to throw out some of the craziness that is going on because I think a big part is just getting us out of our stupor of just, how things go and nothing I can do about it. No, man, we've got to do something about it. It's up to us for our kids and our grandkids to keep America exceptional. And so I just want to throw out some of these crazy ones. How about this? The San Francisco Chronicle put out a tweet. Residents and city leaders are searching for answers. See, they have some crime in San Francisco. I mean, I don't know how. But they couldn't have anything to do with the fact that now shoplifting you don't get arrested for. Can't have anything to do with for how long they've been excusing criminal activity and saying it's really the problem of, the systemic failures in American society. And really just, the criminal's never to blame. It's everybody else's fault, right? The criminal's the victim. So residents and city leaders are searching for answers. Should they tolerate burglaries as a part of city living and focus on barricading homes? wait, what? Yeah, so you shouldn't worry so much about arresting the criminal and putting him in jail. Just every night when you go to sleep, just barricade your home from inside. Like the zombie apocalypse. There you go. Like the zombie apocalypse is upon you. Just barricade up. I mean, come on, you got to do your part. You can't expect people to leave you alone. Can't expect the police to arrive and arrest these people. So that's the first question. Should they tolerate burglaries as a part of city living and focus on barricading homes? Should repeat offenders get rehabilitation services or be incarcerated so they can't commit more crimes? And then they had a link to an article headline, 2 men with long criminal histories got caught for stealing bikes. What should San Francisco do about them? All right, put them in jail is the first thing you should do. Then after they serve their time, they can be paroled with supervision or back in the slammer if they mess up. Yeah, because guess what? Rehab can work, okay? My first job out of college was probation and parole officer. Some of these people did a great job. They were arrested one time. They served their time. They came out. They got a job. We supervised for them a while. They're okay, everything. But a lot of them still had a lot of problems. And there's only so much rehab can do because you can lead a horse through water, but you can't make them drink, right? Man, sometimes these people just don't want to stop being criminals. And guess what you need to do with them? You need to lock them up again. And you need to quit giving them excuses and quit blaming everything on the system or America or society. No, dude, you're the one choosing to do this stuff, and you've got to change your life and stop doing it. The piece explores the city's pursuit for criminal justice reform while debating how to manage rates of property crime that for years have been among the highest in the nation. Yeah, wonder why. The idea of victimhood, lax enforcement, excuses that are given over and over and over again. San Francisco has also seen a substantial decrease in its police force over the last few years. What a shocker. Tony Montoya, San Francisco Police Officers Association president. Tony Montoya? That's a fake name. No, it's his name, Tony Montoya. And he wants to tell the criminals to say hello to my little friend. No, what he really said was, this brazen criminal behavior is endured every single day by San Franciscans and is the direct result of District Attorney Chesa Boudin and his enablers' criminal-first agenda. That's giving it to him, and it's absolutely true. Then we move on to the next crazy one. Sarah Taylor reporting. Do you remember the Virginia mother, Stacy Langton? She went to the Fairfax County, Virginia Public School Board meeting in September, and she said, I can't believe that these 2 books are in the student library, because she started reading from them and they were so pornographic that they chastised her for reading them out loud when there were children in the audience. She's like, these are in the school library. You're getting mad at me for reading them? That's my whole point. And it actually also depicted graphic imagery and dialogue of sex between adult men and minor teenagers. So she's like, look, this is pedophilia, this is pornography, and you've got it in the high school library. Well, I don't understand. We've got to expose kids to different things. No, not to this. So now she has been banned from the student library. Oh, Greg, you're getting that Jovid cough again. Yeah, the Joe Biden, the Jovid cough. It's when I laugh so hard I cough. That's what we're calling it now, Jovid. I've got Jovid. The board members shamed her for reading the passages. The Washington Examiner explaining that now she has been banned from the library. She asked why. They said it was a school policy. She said, oh, yeah, send me the specific policy. And they sent her a policy that made no mention of restricting visitor access to parts of the campus anywhere, provided the visitors sign in and obtain a visitor pass, which she does. She plans to address the school board at its Thursday meeting. By the way, two of the books she complained about, Lawn Boy and Gender Queer, have been taken off the library shelves pending a review. And Langton has now told Fox News, since speaking out publicly, she and her family have received countless threats. Quote, I'm not getting a lot of sleep right now. Nobody's sleeping in my house because we can't be sure that we're safe. That's from the tolerant crowd now that's giving her the threats because she had the audacity to complain about some pornographic and pedophilia books in the school library. Here's another one. This is another reason you got to get involved as a parent. Right? If she hadn't gone to that school board meeting, if the people hadn't gone and pushed back on CRT being in the Virginia schools, then it would still be going on. Probably is still going on, but at least they're pushing back against it, and it's starting to change. Caroline Downey reporting. The co-founding partner of the consulting firm that was hired by Loudoun County Public Schools, this is also in Virginia, man, they got some issues there, to incorporate equity and inclusion initiatives into school curricula, in a recent lecture said he believes public education should not focus primarily on learning. What? Learning? Isn't that what they're supposed to be doing in school? Well, not really. Not according to Jamie Almanzan. Listen to this. Quote, I think the thing that public education offers, because I certainly don't think we offer learning. What? Sorry, I couldn't even get through this. I certainly don't think we offer learning. Are relationships. What historically high schools were for was dissemination of information very quickly. Well, actually, the internet is better than the high school is. Truthfully, the teacher in relation to the dissemination of information is obsolete, but the teacher in relationship to relationship is the thing. What claptrap? I mean, look, do you agree with that? You as a parent, is that what you think? That schools and teachers aren't really for learning and teaching, but it's really for relationship to relationship. That's the thing. No, teaching is not just access to information. Teaching is helping to teach, to explain it, to then ask the student to do some homework and take a quiz and give them feedback and say, no, you don't quite have it yet. Let's explain it again. How about this analogy? How about trying it this way? Can you learn better this way? How can I help you understand the concept and move on to the next thing? Oh, you got it now. Good job. All right, let's move on. No. It's not about learning. It's about relationship to relationship. That's the thing. Almanzan urged teachers and administrators to practice their diversity training on adults whose minds have hardened over time so they'd be better prepared to convert children. Quote, to change adults, sometimes I wonder whether it's even worth it. Sometimes you're like, just forget it. They should just get out of the way. See, parents, you should just get out of the way. Kids change much faster. Adults are in the way. And what are they trying to convert you to? Equity. Equity's great, Greg. No, see, equity's not equality. Equity's not equality? No. See, equality means that everybody's treated equally under the law. Everyone's treated equally in school. Everyone's treated equally when they go for a job interview. Equity means equal outcomes regardless of the inputs. That's different. So here we go. Equality of opportunity is insufficient, Almanzan says. Public school systems must reflect an institutionalized equality of outcome. There it is. He recommended a linguistic strategy for schools to adopt in order to make equity and inclusion initiatives more palatable to constituents. Say we just have to spin it the right way so that we can brainwash persuade your kids. Yeah, that's the ticket. 2019, Loudoun County Public Schools signed a contract with Equity Collaborative, paying over $500,000 in taxpayer funds to apply CRT to the curriculum, according to the consultant report card compiled by nonprofit Parents Defending Education. CRT isn't taught in schools, Greg. You're just lying. Yeah. Again, we've been over this, but one more time, in case you get in an argument with a leftist, you're right. CRT, critical race theory, is not taught in the schools. Everything that comes out of critical race theory is what's being taught in the schools. America is systemically racist. People have white privilege. There's white fragility. I mean, you have inherent racism and unconscious racism that you can't even get rid of, and all kinds of things that are assigned to people based on their skin color. That's called racism, by the way. The contract included an 8-day systemic equity assessment presented to county staff, students, community members. Also, the district funneled $32,000 to Equity Collaborative for a district equity plan. Equity Collaborative received $40,000 to provide equity-driven central office leadership to Loudoun County Public Schools. And the district paid an additional $22,000 for a 4-day Equity in the Center co-facilitation. Almanzan got $5,500 a day. And it's nice work if you can get it. And it's really helping our kids. Columbia University's gone another step. According to Adam Sabes, they now have a video out, Why Pronouns Matter. Uploaded to Columbia University's YouTube account, explains how using correct pronouns is a way to respect those around you. And then, it's not just about respect, it's about if you don't do it, you can be fired. Intentionally misgendering someone by refusing to use the correct pronouns or name is a violation of the Columbia University non-discrimination policy. Words matter. Even unintentional errors can create challenges, and violation of the policy can lead to punishments ranging from a formal warning to termination of employment. The video explains some people were using different pronouns than she and her and he and him, including they, them, ze, them, ze, her, per, purse, and I am. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing these correctly. You can't even pronounce them. How are you going to call the person it? I don't know. Look, I think I'm going to get in on this. From now on, I shall be referred to as Captain Awesome. And if you don't call me Captain Awesome, then I am highly offended, and I believe that you are discriminating against me, and I'm going to do everything I can to cancel you. Okay? All right, Captain Awesome. Yeah, I am not calling you Captain Awesome. I'm very upset. Greg, you can't make fun of these people. Why do you hate these people? What's wrong with you? Look, I'm not making fun of them. I'm making fun of the nonsense that we are all engaging in. Because instead of helping someone who has obviously got some issues, if you believe that you need to be called per and pers and they and them, there's something going on. And the problem is we have embraced and really enabled the mental problems that are going on with people who believe that they are in a situation where they have to be called these different pronouns instead of helping people through their mental distress. And so what we've done, we've agreed to play a game with them, and it's spiraled into more and more people thinking that that's what they need to do, and actually turning it into some kind of badge of honor that you're not just using a normal pronoun. What do you mean normal? All right, average. The video explained how someone may use multiple pronouns. If someone's pronouns are she, they, that's just a quicker way to indicate that a person uses she, her, hers, and they, them, theirs pronouns. You got it? And if you mess that up, Buster, you could be fired. Cherise Trump is the executive director for Speech First, and she said, mandating the use of pronouns is a form of compelled speech and a violation of students' First Amendment rights. However, Columbia University is a private institution, therefore not beholden to the Constitution in the same way public universities are. And she's right. This is the point that so many on the left don't even want to discuss. You trying to compel me to say something is a violation of my First Amendment rights. You do not have the right to force me to say something. No. And compelling someone to say something is not tolerance either. Hey, in just a second, I want to talk to you about the Rittenhouse case and what's going on in it, because it's pretty amazing and the way the media is covering it. But if you're enjoying the show, please subscribe and like the podcast wherever podcasts are heard. Please like the Greg Knapp Experience Facebook page. That's big, the Greg Knapp Experience Facebook page. And tell three friends to tell three friends about the show and have them start listening to the podcast. I'm really encouraging you, please be part of this movement. And I see the movement as us pushing back on the far left and rallying around what makes America exceptional to continue to make this country better every day. So if you're in on that, I thank you so much. And I hope you'll tell three friends to tell three friends. Have you been following the Rittenhouse case? Remember, this was in Wisconsin where they had the big George Floyd stuff going on. And unfortunately, many of these protests started to become violent. And so this young man named Rittenhouse, he was there as a medic, as a emergency first aid guy, but he also brought his rifle. And I'm not a big fan on exactly everything that happened here. If I was Rittenhouse, I wouldn't have done what he did to go there that night in the way that he did. However, it ended up that people were attacking him. He feared for his life, and he fired his gun in self-defense, is how I see it in the videos that I've watched. And it ended in tragedy with 2 people being killed and 1 more person being wounded. And so he is on trial accused of murder. I don't know if you've seen the videos, very, very difficult to watch, but when you watch these videos, you're like, okay, wait a second now. So, just the news reporting that in the recent testimony, the guy named Gage Grosskreutz, who was shot in the bicep by Rittenhouse, was testifying. And he admitted in court that he pointed his gun at Rittenhouse and moved toward him with his gun pointed at him before Rittenhouse shot him. Now, I don't know about you, but if somebody's coming at me with a gun and they're pointing it at me, yes, I'm shooting you. So here's cross-examination. He was asked by Rittenhouse's defense team, it wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, that he fired, right? Grosskreutz replied, correct. Now, during earlier questioning from the prosecution, Grosskreutz said he had his hands raised as he closed in on Rittenhouse. But it's hard to have your hands raised while you're pointing your gun at him, while you're advancing on him. Huber, 26, is seen on bystander video hitting Rittenhouse with a skateboard before he was shot. A witness testified that Rosenbaum lunged at Rittenhouse before being shot. And Julio Rosas points out that upon cross-examination, the defense got Grosskreutz to admit he lied to the police on several occasions. Grosskreutz told officers shortly after the shooting that, quote, I dropped my firearm. The defense said that was a lie. Grosskreutz chased after Rittenhouse, and he had just testified he pulled out his gun while running, and by the way, they have a photo of it. In the lawsuit that Grosskreutz has against the city of Kenosha, Wisconsin, he's demanding $10 million for damages, but didn't mention he was armed when he was shot by Rittenhouse. Grosskreutz said it is not true to say he chased Rittenhouse, but then he was shown a picture of himself grabbing his handgun while running toward Rittenhouse. But even after being shown the photo, Grosskreutz said, no, I wasn't chasing him. Grosskreutz initially told police he shouted to Anthony Huber to stop hitting Rittenhouse with the skateboard. But when pressed by the defense, Grosskreutz said, well, the benefit of hindsight, that's not true. Grosskreutz then agreed that Rittenhouse did not shoot until Grosskreutz put his hands down and advanced toward Rittenhouse while pointing his gun at Rittenhouse. By the way, most of this is on the video as well, so it's pretty hard to lie about it. But as A.J. Hamilton points out, the reason people don't trust the press anymore, after everything I just read you that was happening in the trial that any news agency can see, here are some of the tweets that came out from our news agencies. CBS News. Lone survivor shot by Kyle Rittenhouse at Kenosha testifies he thought he was going to die. Nothing about the fact that he was aiming a gun at Rittenhouse while this happened. The Daily Beast. The man who survived being shot by Kyle Rittenhouse last August testified on Monday that he never tried to kill the heavily armed teenager. In fact, he said at the teen's murder trial, he was actually trying to surrender to him. Yeah. I mean, that's the way you normally surrender, is you aim a gun at someone and advance on them while you're surrendering. Heavily armed teenager. So the guy coming at Rittenhouse had a gun, but it was only a handgun. Rittenhouse had a rifle, therefore he was heavily armed, and the other guy wasn't. Washington Post headline, Gage Grosskreutz says he feared for his life before Kyle Rittenhouse shot him during Kenosha unrest. Yeah, so did Rittenhouse, since the guy was aiming a gun at him. This is why people don't trust the media. And this is why I'm bringing you these crazy stories today, just to see stuff is all going on. And it's easy to just say, I don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to retreat to my little hole. I want to just hang with my family and my friends. I don't want to mess with this stuff. And I get it. And I'm not trying to get you sad or mad or anything. I'm just trying to get you to see what's happening. And I know most of you already know because you're listening. But to get other people to see it so that the average American, the majority, which we're a part of, says, whoa, 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 this is not my America. Stop it. Because it's up to us. How about this one? White students not allowed at the Pennsylvania School District's drone camp. Wait, what? Yeah, it's out of National Review today. See, the divisive race talk has got to stop. The far left is trying to divide us by race while claiming you're the one dividing us by race simply because you're pushing back, right? The left is out of control on race. We push back and say, stop it, you're being racist. And then, no, you're the racist. No, you're the racist. So they're trying to shut you up by calling you the names. You start talking, you're racist. You start talking, you're homophobe. You start talking, you're transgender phobe. You start talking, you're just trying to say, well, wait a second, all I want to do is have a discussion. No. There is no two sides to this story. You're awful. You're evil. We got to get rid of you. Shut up. Cancel you. And eventually that's not really an argument. And I think the average person is getting it. Middle school in Pennsylvania. During morning announcements, Upper Marion Area Middle School. School staff member said she had an exciting announcement, but everybody first watch a short video about drones. So they did. And then after the video, the staff member announced a drone flight camp at the middle school on Saturday. It's going to be awesome. It's free. 24 seats available. But it is a Black Student Union sponsored event, and you must be Black, African American, a person of color in order to participate, end quote. Wait, what? Yeah. We're going to discriminate based on skin color at a school on who can go to a free camp. Well, we wrote a grant for it, says the school, and we specified it was for people of color. What? Yeah, reached by the phone Monday by National Review. The school's principal declined to comment, but aimed them to the superintendent, who sent an email. Says, it's part of our ongoing efforts over the past 8 years to give opportunities to groups who are underrepresented in STEM fields, with a primary focus on students of color and students who identify as female. I love that. Not female students, but students who identify as female. It's unclear if the drone program was open to all students who identify as persons of color, though, or just to African American students. They would not respond to that request from National Review. But they did say, if we didn't get our 24 student limit with African American students, then we would have opened it up to the entire middle school. Oh, see? Isn't that nice? That's it. No, it's never okay for a public school to discriminate based on skin color, period. You got to push back, man. You got to push back. Senator Rick Scott, Republican Florida, was on with CNN host Breonna Kyler. And Kyler started this debate with Scott, which is funny because it used to be it was an interview with a news anchor. Now it's always a debate if you're a Republican. And she asked if Republicans across the country would ignore President Trump as they campaigned for the 22 midterm elections. And Scott didn't take the bait. He said, look, I think what Democrats are going to continue to do is talk about Donald Trump. I think Republicans are going to continue to talk about issues. Glenn Youngkin won his race because he talked about issues. Terry McAuliffe wanted to say, oh, there's nothing about critical race theory. We know it's true. Parents know their kids are being indoctrinated with critical race theory in Virginia, and Democrats wanted to deny it. And so the parents showed up because they don't like being lied to. But no. CNN host Breonna Kyler jumped in. CRT is not in Virginia school curriculum, just to be clear. And then Scott put on his reading glasses. Breonna, let me just read you a few things. In 2015, while Terry McAuliffe was governor, the Virginia Department of Education promoted incorporating a critical race theory lens in education. You can still find it on the Department of Education's website. Still there. In February 2019, a superintendent memo to the Virginia Department of Education promoting critical race theory and the idea of white fragility. Kyler came in. No, it's not in the public school. Scott continued. I looked at it yesterday. It's still there, Breonna. Kyler said, no. The CRT is not taught in school. Breonna, wait a minute. Let's all agree. They were trying to indoctrinate kids. Terry McAuliffe denied it. It's still on the website. This is happening. And I hope Democrats continue to say it's not happening because parents aren't dumb. They can see it. Yeah. And she went, fine. It's not part of the curriculum. I would like to move on with you. Yeah, you would because you're busted. Again, this is the wordplay they're using, and don't let anybody you know who is liberal or on the left try to play this game with you. CRT is not taught in schools. Well, all of the things that CRT teaches is being taught in many of our schools. And you can find it, Chris Rufo, if you ever want to just get all the details, just look him up and you'll have reams of information to use when you're talking to your liberal friends. As Fox News points out, Been a number of well-documented instances of CRT's promotion within Virginia, including a presentation that appeared to be sponsored by the state's Department of Education in 2015. In 2019, a memo sent by the superintendent promoted critical race theory and the idea of white fragility. Another endorsed foundations of critical race theory in education as an important tool that can further spur developments in education. And this year, the education officials in Loudoun County, Virginia, acknowledged that critical race theory influences their work, and it was revealed that a Virginia school district spent over $30,000 on critical race theory training for administrators.
But it's not taught in the schools.
Right. How about this one? John Sexton pointing out that the progressives now are upset that you're using the word woke, and they want you to just shut the F up. On MSNBC, Roland Martin asked for his reaction to James Carville, saying the problem is the stupid wokeness. I think Carville should shut the F up because I'm sick of these white men whining and complaining about wokeness when you like it when black folks and Latinos and young white voters and Asians are voting for candidates. Martin added, I'm sorry, James. I need you to do your job and just shut up and not pin the blame on people who are doing the work. Basically, shut up. Glenn Greenwald pointed out that a Slate writer suggested woke is now a racial slur, and anyone who uses it pejoratively should be threatened with violence.
That's the tolerant people.
Yes, that's super tolerant. By the way, didn't the left come up with the term woke in the first place? Now they're mad that you're actually using it?
Yeah, they're not allowed to use it. Only we can use it.
John Rigolizzo pointed out some good news. There's a group of former university administrators, professors, authors, and entrepreneurs who are tired of the woke college campus.
You can't use woke.
I just did. And they're trying to change it a little bit. They are founding a new university in Austin. They are breaking ground soon, dedicated to freedom of thought and academic diversity. They wrote an op-ed on it in the New York Post. Venture capitalist co-founder of Palantir Technologies, Joe Lonsdale, introduced what he's calling the University of Austin, a new university attempting to reclaim the academic rigor and prestige of the American university. They list their principles as the, quote, unfettered pursuit of truth, freedom of inquiry, freedom of conscience, and civil discourse, end quote. They're hoping to open a summer program in 2022. That may be a place to look to send your kid in the future. We'll see how it actually turns out. Did you see the CDC chief, Rochelle Walensky, put out a tweet? Listen to this tweet. Masks can help reduce your chance of COVID-19 infection by more than 80%. Masks also help protect from other illnesses like common cold and flu. Wearing a mask, along with getting vaccinated, are important steps to stay healthy. Wait, we're masking for the cold and flu now?
Well, it's just an extra reason, Greg. It's not the only reason.
Yes, masks also help protect from other illnesses like common cold and flu. Wow. Yeah, there are people that want you to be masked up forever, and this is where the control comes in from the government. Oh, and this idea that masks help reduce your chance of infection by more than 80%? Where? What study are they looking at? Because the latest studies I've seen, including a Canadian study, says those N95 masks, the best possible ones you can get, they filter out about 60% of the aerosol particles. The surgical masks and the cloth masks, maybe 10 to 12%. Where are you getting this 80%? I don't know.
I think that's misinformation. She needs to be displatformed.
Peter Aiken pointing out that biotech giant Regeneron has claimed that its antibody cocktail reduces the risk of COVID-19 infection by nearly 82% for 8 months. That's pretty cool. And said it's great for people who don't respond well to the vaccines, including people who are immunocompromised. Wonder how much that will be talked about in the mainstream media. There also was a massive turnout at a March for Freedom rally in LA against vaccine mandates, according to KABC. Tennessee is pushing a bill that will prohibit hospitals from restricting loved ones from visiting patients if they test negative for COVID. That's awesome. And State Farm is standing by Aaron Rodgers as one of their spokespeople, even though, the left has gone all nutso on him because he didn't get vaccinated and got COVID. So they're saying, hey, we don't support some of the statements he's made, but we respect his right to have his own personal point of view. We recognize our customers, employees, agents, and brand ambassadors come from all walks of life with differing viewpoints on many issues. Our mission at State Farm is to support safer, stronger communities. To that end, we encourage vaccinations, but respect everyone's right to make a choice based on their personal circumstances. Amen, brother. And finally, There's a new poll out, a new USA Today Suffolk University poll, and it's not good for Biden-Harris. For Biden, 37.8% approval rating. That's it. 59% disapproval. And 64% say they don't want Biden to run for re-election. Oh, how about Harris, VP? 27.8% approval. And you don't even see this woman. I don't even know what she's doing. And she's got a 27.8% approval rating and a 51.2% disapproval rating. And in the generic poll for Congress, Republicans are winning 46% to 38%. Uh-oh. This is not looking good for Joe. That's because everybody's getting Jovid. Oh, my name's Greg Knapp. This is the Greg Knapp Experience.